You just downloaded the ThinkorSwim trading software and your charts look like this, but you want them to look like this instead. Well, in today's video, we are going to go over step by step how to go from your boring basic template that is defaulted into ThinkorSwim to setting up your charts and your watch list to be able to trade, to be able to track multiple stocks at once. Hopefully you're excited. Hit like if you are, and let's get amongst it. All right, so jumping into it, I will be using a simulated trading account because I would rather not go in and reset my actual account to default settings. I want to do that in sort of a workshop, so you will notice the simulated trading while we work through all this. But of course, you can do any of this in the real money trading account as well. So for starters, we're landing on the charts page, and from here, you have a charts subtab and a flexible grid subtab. Now, we're going to make use of both of these, and we're going to do them in specific ways. So there's really not much of a difference between the two other than how they're laid out by default. But on the charts tab, there's this block up here that you can easily manipulate how many screens you're looking at, right? So for that reason, we're going to use the charts subtab as where we look at multiple stocks, and we're going to use the flexible grid as to where we kind of focus in on one stock and perform our actual trading and all that sort of thing. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and just click on this little square with the cross through it on these bottom three charts because I want there to only be one chart on this screen. Now, if I go ahead and type in a ticker so that our sidebar populates, we can start to make our flexible grid look like mine did in the example. So really easy. All I had turned on was the time and sales, which actually I'm just remembering right now, since we're in a simulated trading account, you're not going to see any time and sales. They don't show on simulated. But once again, if I go back to my actual account, this is what this will look like in an actual account. The time and sales are showing you all the trades that are going through and whether they're hitting the ask being green or hitting the bid being red, all the orders going through. That's what it will look like in real money. For some reason, it just doesn't populate on a simulated trading account. Then I turn on, then I turn on my active trader window, and this is where we actually perform our trades. And for some reason, when I did that, it drove me down into a 5-minute chart and like zoomed in. That was weird. Anyway, we have our active trader chart turned on as well. And from here, this is where you, of course, buy market, sell market. You can come into the configuration of your active trade window and you can add any button you want to. So if you'd rather, buy the bid rather than buy market, you just double click that way. This is all completely draggable. So I just double clicked on buy bid. It added to the current set. I double clicked on buy market. It removed it from the current set. Then I dragged my buy bid up, and you will now see that sitting there. So another very important thing you want to have on this chart, we're not going to spend too much time going over specific calibrations and specific settings of modules because it's all subjective. Set it up how you want. But an important thing to have on is your auto send. And if you're much more actively trading, you're probably going to want to have this checked so that when I hit buy bid, the order just goes through rather than a confirmation window popping up and everything else. So, there's your active trade window. There's how you're actually going to take trades. Once again, jump in and set it up how you would like. Then I also have my live news turned on. And if you've been noticing, I haven't brought it up yet, but while I've been loading these things into the chart, it's not exactly module ThinkorSwim's not, right? Like there are platforms out there like Dash Trader. Everything's completely module. You can take this window, put it literally wherever you want to. ThinkorSwim isn't quite like that, but it's all resizable cubes, right? So live news immediately is going to be a bottom rectangle on your chart. That's just where it defaults. That's where it goes. You can't really change that. But, of course, you can change the size of it, and all of this is resizable. You drag this out this way. Everything in ThinkorSwim is pretty much set up just like that. So that's really it. As far as my flexible grid goes, I like to keep it relatively simple. Just some time and sales, my big order buttons, and a little bit of news down here in the bottom so that I know where to go to. Now, let's dive a layer deeper here, even before we jump into the charts tab and go over the multi-chart setup. let's dive a level deeper here and talk about links and talk about this sidebar a little bit. So what I'm going to do, I clicked on this sort of link icon here. I'm going to link this chart to red. Then over here on my watch lists, of course, this is all changeable. You can hit, there's an add gadgets plus button at the bottom, which I recognize that you can't see on the screen, but trust me, there's a little plus button in the bottom left of your ThinkorSwim. If you click on that, you can add all kinds of different things on here. Watch list being the important one, but all of this, once again, completely customizable. Set it up however you would like. But on this chart setup, on this watch list, this is just a default one given to you by ThinkorSwim, gap breakouts. If I set this to red, now any chart that I click on from this watch list immediately populates onto the chart over here. That's a very important thing to have set up. It's a very nice thing to have set up, and it's a good time to start talking about that before we jump into the multi-chart. So there's pretty much the breadth of my flexible grid setup, of my active trade setup, the window I'm performing my trades from. Next, we'll talk about the charts tab. We'll get a little bit deeper into some of these watch lists and things like that. If you're new to ThinkorSwim, you're going to want to check out daytradingstrategies.net. This is my website where I have made publicly available all of my custom coded strategies, scanners, watch list. I've spent hundreds of hours doing this stuff. Don't spend that time yourself. Just go download them from daytradingstrategies.net. Link at the top of the description. We'll see you over there. And later in this video, actually, I will give you a free example strategy to show you how to help set them up. So stay tuned for that as well. Let's actually wrap up flexible grids a little bit more just before we jump into some other tabs. So first off, I'm going to uncheck this bar here if I would like to turn off my sidebar just so it's a little bit cleaner. I like to do that. And then two, to get this sort of settings thing out of the way, it's annoying, you're going to click on this show grid actions, and then this customize grid is how you make it go away. And once again, if you need your sidebars up for something, that's obviously how you bring it up. You can bring back up your sidebars, close it again. That's what I do in order to keep my chart clean. And two, let's talk a little bit about chart beautification. Once again, I'm not going to get too deep in it because you can set this up however you would like. But for some reason, and I think this is a simulated trading account quirk. I don't think that will happen when you do this in your real money account. But for some reason, when I added my active trade window, it turned off my, it started overlapping the volume. So I'm going to come into this chart setting and under the general uncheck overlap volume, and that's going to put my volume back in the subgraph like I like it. And there's all kinds of different things you can come in here and just mess around with. I really like to have a little bit of space to the right of my chart instead of having it cram into the wall. So I'm going to expand it 5 bars to the right. I think not having your green bars, filled in is psychotic. I'm not sure why that's the default setting. I'm going to fill mine in. And then also my volume bars, I don't want to just be blue. I want them to be the same color as the tick of the price candle itself, right? So change that setting as well. And then inside of all of this, I'm going to go to style, and I'm going to save this style as subscribe to the channel. Just a name I thought of. That's what I'm going to save the style as. That will be important. And the reason we're sort of doing this is to preface the next tab, to preface the charts tab, which I have already sort of pre-prefaced, this is getting weird, by expanding out to 9 charts already. But once again, if you click on this little cube up here, it's once again, it's not fully modular. You can't make a 3 up here and 2 down here or something like that. It's cubular. I think that works. But anyway, you can set this however you want. I want, whatever this is, 6 charts side by side. Sure. I want 4 charts on top of each other. Sure. Most people are going to use a cube. Most people are going to use something like this. I actually use 6 charts. Something that looks like this, but once again, make it look however you want. And once again, all of these are, you can't put them exactly where you want to, but you can resize them and those sort of things. And of course, if I just go ahead and type in 5 random stocks here, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, just to populate the charts, just so you have something to look at, Meta, and Micron. Why not? I got semiconductors on the mind for good reason, as you can see their charts. But so now all your charts are populated. And guess what? One cool thing you can do from this, you also notice all the sidebars that were also on the flexible grid. Well, actually, that we just hid from the flexible grid are here and appear on these charts as well. Well, if you want something like, I want like 2 charts up here, and then I want maybe an active trader, and I want my time and sales perhaps, or something like that. You can turn off the chart, turn off this chart, turn off this chart. Now you have, once again, the time and sales isn't populating, but you would have your time and sales down here, your active trade window up here, and guess what you can do? Use the link functionality to link these together, right? So now, and let's also link this to yellow. So now whatever I type into this chart will also appear on this time and sales, and on this active trade window. So you can start to see, once again, there's a literal like infinite possibilities you can do with setup, but you can start to see sort of from these conversations some of the tools that are at your fingertips for how you can help set up your charts to look the best that work for you, right? So right now we're going to leave it at this. This is how you have your multi-chart set up. I will go ahead and just showcase once again. Let's actually put this back to yellow. Let's link this to blue or something like that. And let's show quickly how you can have, if you wanted to have multiple different watch lists open, if I open another watch list here and I link this one to blue, now whatever I click on here will populate on this chart. Whatever I click on here will populate on this chart. Start to make use of that sort of stuff too. Now, you will also notice on these charts, I don't have my style. We just sort of beautified this chart, did some chart appearance settings to make it look how we want. I want all my charts to look like that, right? The reason we set it up, the reason we saved it is because all you're going to do is you're going to click on these two little bars here, and you're going to go to load style, subscribe to the channel. Load style, subscribe to the channel. Load style, subscribe to the channel, and you won't have to do this every single time. This will now be saved. So whenever now you open up 6 bars or 6 charts like this, this will be saved and look this way. And I will also show you in just a second, if I could hurry up and click these things while talking, what you can do from here as well. If you click on this sort of chart settings cog again, you can go to save grid as, and you can save the grid as enter grid name. Sure. Now, whenever you would like to have this layout looking like this, when I clicked on that, you see enter grid name, of course, being this. So now if I change everything, if we just go in and like mess everything up, while you're coming in and working on some settings, oh my God, what have I done? I want to go back to, just click on that, and it should take you, current grid layout will be reloaded. Oh, I guess on my real account, I have this don't propped again. I already checked. I was wondering what was happening. So there you go. That's how you save your grid. That's how you get your multiple charts set up. That's how you get your single trade chart set up. Let's talk a little bit about how you add some custom studies and strategies from daytradingstrategies.net, and a little bit more about how you can make use of this left side. For the purposes of showcasing how to import custom studies, strategies, and scanners, and to make use of this left column, we're going to come back into my real money account, because for some reason in a simulated account, you can't use custom study filters in your watch list scanners. Don't ask me why they set it up like that, but that's how it is set up. So in order to do so, in order to talk about so, we're just on our real money account here. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to come over to daytradingstrategies.net. Let me change my view here so you don't see all my bookmarks. And I'm going to come into Access Trading Strategies. I've, of course, already signed up and logged in. If I click on ThinkorSwim here, we're going to load in a scanner. And how you load in this scanner is the same way, and it's going to be a similar looking screen to your strategies, to your studies. Of course, a copy of my workspace is available in here, so you can just easily, instead of having to go in and set up everything we've covered in this video, you can easily just copy mine that way. So, but let's come into, whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. Hey, there's a couple of free studies for you for my misclick. Let's come into these scanners I meant to click on. Let's go to swing trading, and let's load in our, let's look at the MACD Golden Cross scanner. So all I have in here is a scan link, the share link, sorry. In my strategies, you will notice that there's a little bit more information. Actually, I'll just give you a free strategy too while we're messing around here. Why not? Let's give you the volatile large cap strategy. You'll notice in this, you get a lot more information, what time frame to run it on, what the synopsis of the strategy is in English, access to all the custom code and that sort of stuff, obviously a share link. little bit more to talk about with a strategy that's not as important with a scanner. So you just get the share link in there. But if I hop back over into my ThinkorSwim now, I go to my setup in the top right. This is what you're going to do with that share link or with any share link you copy from the site. Just go to open shared items, paste it, preview it, import it, hit OK if it already exists, which it won't for you, and then you will get this beautiful little pop-up here. Or, of course, if it's a study or a strategy, it will appear in your studies, edit studies, and if you type in DTS, you'll be able to find anything that you just imported to add onto your chart. So what that scanner just did, for some reason, once again, a little weird quirk with ThinkorSwim. I don't know why it pops up a scanner in a separate detached window when you import them. But what we're going to do is we're going to hop over to the scan. We are going to go to, hold. We're going to go to, where's my, wait, do I have to run a scan? Wait, what's going on? We're going to go to scan and we're going to go to stock hacker. Make sure you are in the stock hacker subtab. That's usually the default. For some reason, I was on spread hacker. In the stock hacker, meaning this is where you're scanning for stocks, we are going to load this second hamburger menu that I couldn't find previously. And then we're going to load, what did I load in? DTS MACD Golden Cross Scanner is the one we loaded in. So we load that in here. We can run the scan here. We can see all the stocks popping up on it. And of course, if we hop back over to our charts where we have our 6 charts set up, I have, these top 3. I am running separate colored links. And you will notice I'm also running 3 watch lists with those colored links in line, right? So if I wanted to switch this watch list here, instead of looking for stocks to short, I now want to look at that DTS MACD Golden Scanner. It will populate in this sidebar, it will populate stocks that are being returned by the scanner. Now, a limitation of ThinkorSwim, its scanners aren't real time. So the second that a new stock would pop up on this scanner, it's not going to immediately show on the watch list. The watch list update about every 3 minutes, give or take, in ThinkorSwim. So that's about the refresh rate you're going to get. And I'm not sure why this isn't loading. Don't make a fool out of me here now. I'm big up in you here, ThinkorSwim, talking about how nice it is that you just load in. And for some reason, you don't want to do it. DTS MACD Golden Scanner, blah, 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 blah. All right, for some reason I had to load in another watch list and then retry to load in this watch list, and it worked. So once again, TOS can be a little quirky. You might have to deal with some small things like that. But now you can see I have my MACD Golden Cross set up. Any of these that I click on, of course, it's linked to the 3 blue, goes to the 3 blue chart, and you will see these stocks are on the daily getting some nice moves up. Some nice MACD Golden Crosses are happening on these stocks, apparently. So really nice. That's how you have your chart set up to look at multiple charts at once, to have a screen set up that you can actively trade from, and to have multiple watch lists set up that you can link to your charts to easily flip through stocks. And it's how you can import custom studies, strategies, watch list scanners, as we did in today's video from daytradingstrategies.net, which once again, you should all go at least check out. Link at the top of the description down below. I appreciate it if you do. Make sure you hit the like button. Speaking of appreciating it, I appreciate that. It really helps. Make sure you subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, you're obviously interested in ThinkorSwim, creating these custom scanners, studies, this kind of things that you're seeing on these charts over here are what we do on this channel. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all that content for free. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this video, but in the outro, I'll actually link you to a video of one of my custom ThinkorSwim studies if you'd like to check that out next.
Trading stocks. He talks about trading stocks. It's important for you Americans and other international individuals to learn about stocks.